we bring in a friend who we've known for years and years and years. He's an author, relationship therapist, Dr. R.G. Alan Wilson.
Some expert advice on how we can all talk to them. Joining us now is relationship expert Dr. R.G. Alan Wilson. She's the author of Courageous Conversations Connect. Good morning, R.G.
Doctor, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning, Janelle. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
And as we mentioned, a lot of people just dealing with anxiety during all of this. What are your suggestions?
Some of the things that we need to remember is that this is temporary. This is temporary inconvenience for long-term gain. And as long as we stay healthy, Janelle, then everything else is recoverable.
Talk to your children about what's happening right now. What are the best ways to do that?
There's some do's and don'ts, right? So you want to tell them that you're going to be here. We're going to be okay. Kids want to know that they're secure and they're safe. So predictability, structure, and consistency. You also want to let them know you have a plan. And even if you don't have a plan, tell them that you're working on one.
And good morning. Oh my goodness.
Are we still muted?
This is the, 8th week of our quarantine. This is May 8th, 2020, and this is the 34th day of Courageous Conversations X Space, where we're having our quarantine talks. And I'm Dr. RG, yours truly. Oh my goodness. We're going to have a good time today because guess what? I promised you all as we moved into Mother's Day weekend that we were going to have something special for you. And we've got some special guests with us for the entire hour. So we're going to take a quick break from our sponsors. I'm going to introduce our guest, and then we're going to get into our breathing exercise. And so stay with us. It's going to be a great day today. All right. Good morning, guys. Good morning, everyone. I
can't hear.
You can't hear, Sierra.
I can't heir.
Take out your earbuds.
Can't hear you.
Can you take out your earbuds? Like she can't hear. What will we do? Can you hear me now? Yes, no? I can't tell her because she can't hear me.
I can't hear nothing.
You're gonna have to. Oh, we can put it in the chat. Okay. All right. So while we're waiting for her, for our guest to be able to hear me, we are going to continue with the show while we're having a little technological. But good morning, Marcia's on. Thank you for joining the show. As usual, guys, you know, I asked you to go on over to the YouTube page, hit the subscribe button, hit subscribe, hit the notification button. Also, for those of you who are joining us in our IG family, thank you for joining our Facebook family. We've got some new things going on, so also type subscribe if you're on Facebook in the message box so that you can get notifications of our special. We've got a couple of special events going on. We got a lot going on today. So make sure that you share this. Make sure that you let people know. We decided 8 weeks ago that we were going to do something for our community. Our community is our crew. It stands for Connecting Relationships for Epic Wins. And we have a few little announcements, if you will. Tonight, I'm going to be on Envy McKee at 8:20, and we're going to be talking about projection or pain projection. Good morning, Charlotte. Thanks for joining. We'll talk about pain projection. Also on Monday, I'll be on the Today Show in the 8 o'clock hour, and we're going to be talking about cabin fever. So tune into those particular. And tomorrow night, and we're going to be talking about this through the next hour, there's a special event happening to honor mothers, and we're going to be talking about mental health as well. It's a virtual fashion show. So this is a great time right now to introduce our guest. One, we're working on technological difficulties, but we have Faye. She said call her Faye. They call her Faye Lee.
Yep.
Faye Lee, right? And I
Yes.
am remiss, Faye Lee, in terms of your last name. Can you pronounce it for me? Leganois?
Well, the proper name is Legagnier because it's French.
Legatier?
Legagnier.
Legagnier.
Yeah, but I make it. I like to make it easier for people and just say Leganar.
Legana. Okay.
Leganar. Yeah.
Say it the right way though. Legagnier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most people try and say it the right way, but a lot of people butcher it. First name and last name. So I just go by aliases.
Okay. All right. I'm so sorry. You know what? People
Okay.
butcher my name too. You know,
I know-
I was traumatized when I was a kid when people used to call me Augie. Or, you know, which is like, well, that is my grandmother's name and I was named after her, but then they would add Augie Doggy. So that wasn't
God.
really, that was
yeah.
very
no.
No.
really cool, right? So I'm used to that. Or sometimes people don't think that it's RG, so they just send me mail and they say Angie, or they
Mhm.
spell it R period, G period. So there's a whole lot of things with the name.
Oh, I've got some very special spellings of my name. Let's just say that.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. And we also have Sierra Curtis. I can say that. That's very easy to say. And so you guys are doing some really special things, and you are owners. So this is flowing together. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe
Right. Me either.
hard work and preparation meets opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not lost on me that today all week we were talking about mental health because this is National Mental Health Awareness Month. And we talked throughout the week about depression. Yesterday we talking about loss and sort of letting go of certain things. Well, today we already had on the agenda to talk about work-life balance, right? And you all are doing a special event specifically for mothers, but other people can join as well, as it relates to a virtual fashion show. Before we even get to that, right? Because I think that's amazing, and I'm going to be a part of that tomorrow evening at 8:00.
Awesome.
Before we get into that, you all are entrepreneurs yourselves, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So you're entrepreneurs, you're mothers, you are, family members. Many of you've been in quarantine with your families, if you will, and you've been running your business and trying to figure out how to create your brand or continue your brand in the midst of quarantine. Yes? All right, so we're going to get into your business, what you've been doing in quarantine, how you've been managing and talking with your family about work-life balance. I know you had some work-life balance stuff this morning because we talked about being your children's professional assistant, administrative assistant, online classes, if you will. So we're going to get right into that as we move into the show. So I want to give a shout out to our essential workers, right? And I think that who was it, Bailey?
My mom.
Your mom is an essential worker. So if you've watched the show, everyone joins in on our breathing exercise. That's how we begin our show. And we breathe we tell each other in our crew, Connecting Relationships for Epic Wins, who we're breathing for. Because breathing is essential. We know with this virus that it's impacted everyone that has been like literally on this planet. But specifically for those people who have come down with the virus, they have difficulty breathing. So now they're learning more about the fact that it's attacking your heart and your cognitive ability. But in the beginning, we created pneumonia and attacked people's lungs so they could not breathe. So we start off this show with breathing for our essential workers, our frontline workers, anyone that we know that has come down with this virus. I actually have a friend of mine who just came down with a couple of weeks ago, had the virus. His name is June Bias. And he texted me a couple of days ago and said that he's home. And he's home safely.
That's the safest place to be.
Yeah. So he was
not that.
well over a week. And now he's home and he's recovering and looking forward to, I think he owns a house, down the street as well, properties and things like that. So he's looking forward to getting back to his life. So we like to hear those stories because there's so many people that have, if you watch the news, the death rate has elevated and some people are not doing well. So we want to send our prayers for those persons that are not doing as well, people who have transpired. I've had many clients that have had loved ones that have transpired due to COVID. But we also, if we're here, we have another opportunity to help each other and help ourselves. So we breathe in and we do this. I want you guys to do it with us, right?
Okay.
We do it 5 times. So
Okay.
we list in the chat who we want to breathe for, and we're breathing oxygen in and carbon dioxide out. We're also breathing in goodness, love, joy, peace, serenity, all that wonderful stuff. And then we're breathing out worry, pain, anxiety, fear, those kinds of things. We try to hold it for 10 seconds if we can. If you can't, then you can let it out a little bit earlier, but that builds the lung capacity. So Faylee and Sierra, who would you be breathing for?
Sierra, you want to go first or you want me to go?
You could go. Let me think.
I mean, it's pretty simple. Breathing for my mama.
Your mama, who is an essential worker. Yeah.
Exactly. And my baby. So
And your babies.
yeah, and pretty much, well, my grandmother as well, because she's in a nursing facility that and she's not properly being taken care of. So I try not to think too much about that. So I breathe for her.
Got you.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So we're breathing for your mom, your children, and your grandmama. Absolutely. Gotta look out for the seniors. What about you?
I would
in music.
Okay, but let me finish this real quick and then I'll listen to it, okay?
Okay.
All right, she's got to be on camera. All right, say hi. All right, I'll see you in a second, okay?
Okay.
All right, close the door. It never ends.
Mommyhood does not end. No.
No.
There is
For
no
me-
clock out button. Go ahead,
I
Sierra.
was going to say, I'm breathing for my significant other who is an essential worker. He's not in the medical industry, but he is in the food industry. So he hasn't had, he's been working around the clock because food is essential and we got to eat.
That's right.
But he's out there every day and it's dangerous. You never know if you're going to contract it and come home with it.
Right.
And then I would say definitely I've had other family members who have experienced loss from people diagnosed with COVID. So just breathing for everybody who I know who's been affected. Some of my clients have reached out to me. They've lost family members and stuff. So everybody. I just feel so blessed and lucky to be home and
healthy.
Yeah,
That's right.
with my babies.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I said that, as we grow through this, if we grow through this and we're still healthy, right? That was the number one goal. Everything else is recoverable. So people were worried about being home and not having work. And there's lots of losses to go around for sure. We talked yesterday about cumulative loss, like when you're losing a loved one or you're also losing maybe your job or your identity or the life that you once knew. But the goal standard is to keep ourselves healthy so that we can grow through this and get to the other side. Even though this is a marathon and we thought it was 2 weeks and now it's 8 weeks and the rest is continuing. That at the end of the day, we got to reframe it. We're not just stuck at home. We are safe at home for those and for those essential workers out there, for those frontline workers that are putting themselves on the line. We got to continue to breathe for them. I wonder if our IG family, if they've shared who they're breathing for. Morgan usually, I can't see them, so Morgan shares with me who they're breathing for.
No, nobody shared anything just yet.
All right. So we're going to go into our posture. I ask people to keep their back straight. So Faylee and Sierra, back straight.
There we go.
Put your middle finger to your thumb like this. If you choose to, you can either put it on your lap like this or to the sides of your lap like this, right?
Okay.
All right. I usually put mine to the side of my lap. Get real comfortable. And at the sound of my voice, I count to 3. We breathe in through the nose. We hold it for 10 seconds to build lung capacity and out through the mouth. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in. and out. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in. Yeah. It's okay. And out. Last time, make it count. Breathe in. And out. Yes. That felt good, right?
Yeah.
Get all that good oxygen in there and that lung capacity. Yes, that I ask people to do that, and I do the breathing exercise so people can learn how to do it and continue to do it throughout the day. Because the thing is that we don't realize how shallow our breathing is. We talk fast, everything is fast paced. Before this quarantine, everybody was moving like these little hamsters on a wheel, and nobody was stopping to breathe, right? But breath is life. And with so many people dying throughout this COVID-19 pandemic, we haven't stopped to think about the fact that we have so much to be grateful for if we're here. And we have to do our due diligence to breathe in that oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide, because that is life, right?
Yep.
So
Definitely.
let's get into, I want our viewers to ask questions in the chat as well about what your experiences have been. We are honoring Mother's Day that's coming up. For some people, I said yesterday, if you have a great mother, love on them. Love on them, give them their roses while they're here, show them that, they're amazing, and embrace that energy that only mothers can give you. And if your mothers are going on, then appreciate the memories that you had. Like my mother passed away 5 years ago, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of her, but I have now learned to carry her with me inside of me. So I even look like my mother, my sisters and I. And so I enjoy just in thinking about all the messages that she gave me throughout the years, and really being so appreciative that I had her for so long in my life. And if your mom wasn't who you needed her to be or who you wanted her to be, then forgive her, so that you don't carry that into the next generation of mothering. So those are the things that I think that we need to do. But as we move on, I want you guys to share a little bit about your business and what were you doing before COVID-19 hit back in the early March. It was here long before that, but they didn't really tell us.
Right, I know.
It was kind of March when we were all trying to figure out what we were going to do. And you guys had a bustling business. And I want to share a little bit about, first, Bailey, your business is London Artistry, right? And it's on the on-site glam squad. So tell us a little bit more about your on-site glam squad, which I probably need, and what you were doing with your glam squad before, as a business owner. How were you managing work-life balance, if you will, and how is it different now for you?
Well, pretty much what we do is we are, like you said, glam squad, and we specialize in special occasions, weddings, birthdays, film, TV, whatever you may need a glam squad hair and makeup for. We pretty much are the one-stop shop for you to book us or whatever. Before all this happened, pretty much what I was doing was just kind of just building momentum, because I was in the slow season, because our bulk is weddings, and usually between December and I want to say February, it's a little slower. So around that time, that's when I'm taking my bookings for the year, promoting, just kind of keeping the momentum going until the new season arrives. And then the new season arrived along with Corona. So that stopped everything. So instead of, getting in the funk like everybody else that I know, I had to basically just switch my mind and start to really think about how I'm gonna, work with this because, I really don't have a choice as far as like what I can and can't do. So I had to kind of make it work for me the best I could. So, and on top of having a 6-year-old that pretty much, like you said before, I work for her.
There has to be a meme, right? Like the
No,
moms and dads
seriously.
have become the administrative assistants to the children. How is that even possible?
Yes, I don't even know, but in the past month to month and a half, I've become the teacher, the gym teacher, the music teacher, everything, the playmate, everything under the sun. So basically trying to balance all that on top of still trying to keep my business running, and just coming up with different ways to make sure that when something like this happens again, that I'm not sitting at home worrying about where the next paycheck is going to come from. So that's pretty much what I've been kind of working on, is just manifesting different avenues of income. So that way, next time we're not going to be affected as much. So
I love it. I love it, because when we think about, and I've been asking people, Faylee, to think about where you are, where you are now, and what you've learned from this, so that when you level up on being prepared, there will be a next time for something, right?
Yeah,
that's what life is all about. There's ups and downs and twists and turns, right? So there'll be a next time for something. Question is, will you be more prepared?
Exactly.
Will you have learned from this experience? Will you have created your branding in such a way that it's not contingent on one funding stream, if you will?
Definitely.
And how are you utilizing these kinds of platforms to be innovative so that we can connect? Because we're never going back to just the old
normal, right?
And the way that we used to. It's going to change. It's forever changed. And for those people who are resistant to change, those people,
they're going to have a hard time.
So that's, that's something to be said for the entrepreneur. It also is something to be said for how you adapt. Early on, guys, we talked about the 5 A's. That first we had to accept that we were in a new reality. This was going to be a new norm. Then we had to begin to adjust our mindset, reframe our thinking about, okay, if this is new, how am I going to work with this? Then we had to begin to adapt, which is what you guys are doing. How do I utilize the skills that I have and adapt it in a different way so that I can develop strategies for the new norm now, not the new norm in the past or the old norm. And then begin to appreciate how far you've come. Like, you look at where you were probably 8 weeks ago and where you are now, and you've moved monumentally to a space. So appreciate that, so that you can then begin to acknowledge the new attitude, right? The attitude of gratitude. Like, if you're here, right, you got a number of opportunities to make this work. So that's what you are actually doing. That's how I see it. And in terms of your motherhood, right? Motherhood is on fleek these days, right? Because you are through so much. So I so appreciate what you're actually creating to do tomorrow night for mothers, in terms of, I think the terminology was keeping the funk out of it or something like that.
Shake the funk. Shake off the COVID funk.
Right?
Shake off the COVID funk.
The COVID funk. I love that, right? So, focusing on, you said not, that good vibes are not canceled. I love that. I love that. So, Sierra, tell us a little bit about your business and what your work-life balance was like before, and who you accommodate, what type of clientele, and then where are you now in terms of your business?
Yeah, so I'm also a licensed cosmetologist. I started in the industry with hair, but I transitioned over to lashes. So I established an eyelash extensions specialty studio. We're located in the heart of Cherry Hill, New Jersey, right across the street from the Cherry Hill Mall, very convenient location. And pretty much we service everyone, any woman, working woman, stay-at-home mom, any woman that just, lashes are life. Okay. I mean,
makes a
they
difference.
literally give the woman the confidence she needs to just conquer her day, whether that's a grocery store run, a meeting, an interview, like lashes just really, really accentuate the eyes. So it's just been amazing that I was able to create a business that specialized on such a small, intricate part of a woman's face. But we're booming. I mean, I've been in business for 6 years, and we were about to turn 7 in December, and we really haven't had a slow season. I mean, January is kind of like our only slow month, but from February to December, I mean, women are serious about their lashes. They don't so that work-life balance was crazy. I mean, because I not only work in my business, I work on my business, right? So I'm in here and I'm doing the lashes.
Wait. Say that again. You work in your business and on your business. I think that other entrepreneurs out there need to hear that,
Oh
right?
yeah, definitely.
Tell me a little, focus a little on that, because because I don't think sometimes people understand that you wear so many different hats, and then you're a woman that has a life outside of the work, right? So say a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I'll be at work working on my clients, having a ball, because as women we do, we have girl talk and the clients are relaxed and we're just laughing and kikiing and just having a great day. Then we close down, we close around like 5-6 p.m. And then when I go home, not only am I a mother, but I still have to work on my business. So I'm working on the marketing, the social media presence, the emails, just every and anything that comes with keeping a storefront running, and then the marketing and branding. So all the behind the scenes stuff that happens pretty much after my kids go to bed. So I still don't have it mastered, but I think what I've come to in the past 2 years is like, come home, focus on them, which is like 5 to like 8 o'clock. So that's dinner, that's homework, that's quality time, movies, whatever. And then when they go down at 8:15, 8:30, I'm in my room, laptop, and now I'm working on my business.
Right.
So it's around the clock. It's around the clock, but I love it. I really can't.
You have to.
I know.
Well, see, here's the thing about that, and I'm so glad you said that, because in order to do these kinds of things in terms of entrepreneurship, you got to love it, right? Because it's going to consume your time 24/7, and then you have to find time to put your oxygen mask on first as well to take care of yourself. If you don't, then you're not going to have the refueling energy to do what you do, but it has to be something that you love. Yeah, right? Charlotte says, oh my goodness, where, Charlotte says, is it located in Haddonfield Road, on Haddonfield Road?
Off of it, right?
So here's Haddonfield, and then Church is perpendicular. We're on Church Road.
Church Road. Okay, so it's Haddonfield and Church Road. Okay, gotcha. So evidently one of our listeners and our viewers knows where it is, and so you're going to get some additional clients out of this, which is awesome. And so I want you guys to share a little bit about what's going to happen tomorrow night, because you all came up with this idea about taking care of women on Mother's Day and having this creativity. So when we come right back, we're going to share a little bit from our sponsors, and then we're going to come right back and we're going to dig into what we're going to experience tomorrow night and how much fun that's going to be. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good morning, guys. This is Dr. RG, and this is Courageous Conversations Connect Space, where we actually have our quarantine talks every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Please share this post, share this broadcast with your friends and your family. We don't want this conversation to just be about us. We want this conversation to be for everyone, right? And the only way that we can do that is if you share it, so that if they can't watch it in real time, they can see it in another space at another particular time. So share it, please, with anyone and everyone that you can. We're having great conversations. We started this 8 weeks ago, quarantine talks, what people were anxious about, what people were interested in. And as this country begins to reopen gradually, we need to be talking about how we're going to take what we learned from our experiences and we're going to execute. We're going to move it into a healthier space so that we are not, bitter about this experience, that we're better, that we're not, taking these experiences and being upset about them, although there's some things that are very upsetting, but we're becoming stronger. And so share this with everyone if you want. Also give me the thumbs up, the smiley faces, the hearts. That helps with the algorithms. Yes, babe. Gotcha. So, yes, I did. No, I didn't do it in the description. I didn't do it in the bio. All right. So we'll talk about that when we get into the conversation about the event tonight. But I also wanted to just bring a few things to your attention. So this week we do our goal setting week, right? And in our goal setting, and I want to hear from Ciara and Faylee if they have some goals for themselves. But my goal setting was to actually elevate my physical health, right? Do some exercising. I was going to build up my immune system. I also was going to really work hard on just kind of getting my physicality, my body in shape, mind, body, all connected, right? So I did okay. I still think that I could do better, but through the week, I asked for an accountability partner. And then on Friday, I asked each of us in the crew, if you had some goals, how you did, right? We also had a sponsor for that. And our sponsor was David Sims. He is the owner and proprietor of and the head chef of Eatable Delights Catering, located at 1540 Wadsworth Avenue. You can be reached at 215-236-3900. His food is absolutely delicious. Check him out. He's just amazing. He's been a good friend of ours for many, many years. And in fact, I think he's supposed to be delivering some food to us today. And so check him out. He's been our sponsor for the entire week. And also there's some other great things that are going on. And I'm not sure if Ciara and if Faylee, you heard about this through our platform, but my good friend Candy Manning is doing a Save Prom 2K20 for all those young people who felt like prom was canceled. It's not. She's a photographer, she's a real estate agent, she's a teacher, and she felt like so many of these young people were not getting, were so upset because they didn't have prom. So she's going to have a location during next week and the following week where those persons can dress up like they were going to dress up and get their photos in a socially distant manner. So they'll stay in the car, get text, and then when we get out,
I like that.
take pictures of them. And the people in the car, they've lived together so they can be together, but everyone can be separate. So, and those pictures will be sent to them. So I thought that was an amazing idea. She's an entrepreneur as well. So level up, for her, and shout out to her, as well as our good friends, Nicole and Kenyatta Black. They are the owners and proprietors of Philadelphia Diamond Company. They are actually doing an essential giveaway of working moms. And all you have to do is by tomorrow, send a 200 or less word essay on why you think, actually, is it Ciara or Faylee? Ciara, you could do this for your mom. Send a 200 word or less essay on why your mom should receive this gift. And 50 of those persons from the Diamond Company will have sent to them a beautiful diamond necklace. So I think that is amazing.
Okay.
And they just wanted to do it just because they wanted to give back. And so everybody's trying to find ways to give back, right? Because if you're home safe and you've been afforded the opportunity to be in a safe house and not get sick, and be able to, just take care of your family, that's a blessing in and of itself. Won't you agree?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
So for your business, what you're doing to give back is you're doing this virtual fashion show. Those persons, I posted it today. I'll continue to post the flyer. They can go to our IG page and click on the link. We'll put it in the bio so that they can register, and it'll be 8 o'clock tomorrow night.
8 to 9.
8 to 9. So tell us. Okay, Morgan's going to try to put the flyer up now. Can everybody still hear me?
Yes.
Even with the flyer? Good. Okay, so this is the flyer right now, so for everybody to see. And guys, tell us a little bit about where this idea came from and what people, that moms and other people are going to experience when they come on to this show.
Okay. See.
Ciara?
Yeah, I can go. So the way we came up with it, so the interesting thing is background. Me and Faye were already about to start launching events prior to coronavirus. We were going to use my studio at Dahl Lash Bar to host events. Our goal for 2020 was to start hosting events to bring the community together, bring the beauty industry together, bring in beauty professionals together, because obviously that's our industry. And we just wanted to start to build like community and resources. And so it's just interesting that our first event was scheduled for March 29th.
Right.
And so February, when the coronavirus started to enter the US. There was a case here and a case there. Me and Faye were already finalizing our vendors. We were figuring out the menu. I remember calling the Cherry Hill, I forget the name, but where you figure out like what your building maximum capacity is. Like we were about to start selling tickets. And then March hit and I told Faye and I was like, I think we're going to have to cancel the event. And she was like, no, we're good. We're good. Like, let's keep. And so I think I listen to the news a little bit more than she does. So I was like, okay, like there was a case in Cherry Hill today. There was a case.
Listen, I was in a bubble for probably 2 weeks.
In the bubble.
Nah,
so I had to pop her little bubble and let her know that, Cherry Hill had gotten its first case. And I was like, I think we're going to have to cancel it. So March 29th was going to be our first event. So this actually happened because we were already planning events and then we just figured out a way to make it virtual.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So look at that you all, so what this tells me is that the movement continues, that delayed doesn't mean denied, and that opportunity meets preparation every time. No coincidences. We just have to continue to grind, continue to move forward, understand that even when we have these particular situations like a pandemic, I always say that pain turns into power when we appreciate the process.
So I like that.
Write that down.
I know, write that down, Sierra.
And you got to appreciate the process. And too often entrepreneurs, the ones that are really successful and significant are the ones that are appreciating the process, because the process is hard, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And there's some sacrifice. A lot of people say, oh, well, when I grow up, I want to be just like you.
They don't even know.
They will say, if only you knew. You might not say that.
What did you say the other day, Sierra? You said you felt so defeated and accomplished at the same time. And I was like, that's entrepreneurship.
Yep.
That's pretty much it. Defeated and accomplished at the same time.
Yeah. But the defeat is not, I don't believe that the only true failure is never to try at all. Right. Every other failure is called failing forward. Right. Because as you make these mistakes, it makes you stronger, it makes you better, it gives you the grit that you need, that we all need as entrepreneurs. And we do know that ultimately there are going to be sacrifices. There is always going to be a risk to benefit reward, but little risk, little gain. Big risk,
big gain.
Gain. So Faylee, so when you think about this event, can you share what you all now envision that other people that come on to this platform tomorrow night at 8:00 will experience?
I think just coming in to kind of just enjoy each other's vibe and just have fun and let loose and just try not to think about what's going on around us, because we're consumed with it. You turn on the TV, you turn on social media, it's you can't escape it. So I think this is a good way to escape it, so to speak, and kind of give everybody a reason to let loose, have fun, enjoy, get dressed, put on some makeup, put on some lashes, something just to kind of shift their focus a little bit more and maybe get their creativity flowing as well. So I hope, they can get something of that sort out of it. That's my, that's my personal.
And why, can you tell me a little bit more about why you thought about integrating? Because I'll be on your platform as well on the show, and I'm going to be coming on periodically and giving people mental health tips. Why do you feel like that's so important for moms to level up on their mental well-being in addition to their physical, emotional, spiritual, and all those kinds of things?
Basically we have little people that we're raising. So our stress affects them. Whether we want to, agree with it or not, it does. Like, I can see how, I try and keep myself as, soothing as possible, because I see how it affects her. We're really, really close, as you can see. So, and I used to not notice how my moods would affect her. And then I started to realize it, especially now, because she's with me all day, every day. So I realized how my moods kind of affect her a little bit. So you have to be kind of mindful of, how you're getting up and living your day-to-day life and having to cope with this, and having them not be completely affected by it the way everybody else is. Because like I said, even from with her having her little Google chats or whatever with her friends, and I see how much she misses her friends. She literally had a breakdown. And I think that was one of the reasons why I was just like, okay, this fashion show might be a good thing, because it gives even the little kids a reason to, just have fun, because she had a breakdown, not being able to see her friends, not being able to, so it plays with your psyche. And I think just if we keep ourselves mentally stable, it trickles down to our youth, our children, and all that. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Our mental wellness is essential, right? We talk about our essential workers, the food delivery people, the grocery store workers, the pharmacy workers, the doctors and nurses out there, the flight attendants and gate agents and truck drivers, right? This is National Teachers, this is Teachers Appreciation Week, and this is Nurses,
yeah.
Right? And so we think about those persons that are out there on the front lines as essential workers. And that terminology, I think, hits home when it comes to moms and dads. And dad's day is going to be, coming forth, and we need them as well. But right now we're focusing on moms. Moms are essential workers, because y'all are working 24/7.
We don't stop.
Right?
We don't stop.
Yes.
Nonstop. And I work with a lot of moms in our practice, and many of my moms tell me that there are times, and interesting enough, yesterday we were talking about looking out for the strong one and how to talk to your family about your mental well-being or your anxiety and your fears. I do think that times we feel like we can't share, right? Because we're expected to be all strong one at all times, in every situation. We're supposed to be on fleek, constantly, the strong one. So who takes care of the moms? What's your story? I want people, this platform is for people to be able to share their story. This platform is a crew, connecting relationships for epic wins. And as we share our story, I believe that we give each other strength, if you will.
Definitely.
And there's a way in which we can externalize that pain, that fear, that anxiety. We have to find our person or our persons. Like, you both were saying, I think it was that, who was it that was kind of waiting to see what was happening? I think it was Feely. You weren't watching the news, right? So
she was in her bubble.
I don't watch the news. I try not to watch the news.
You were in your little bubble. And I had to kind of, because we also have to hold each other accountable. So when you see your friend not doing so well, right? I think that we need to lift each other up. It's nothing for us. It takes nothing to say a kind word, send a text. Hey girl, I'm thinking about you. Send a scripture or some positive affirmation, or say, before and maybe after COVID-19 and the pandemic, hey, look, you know what? I think you're a little stressed. Let me take kids for a day. We're going to go to the park and hang out, and you just go have your spa day, because the two of you are involved in glamming people up on the outside. And it's interesting that we're connected today, because my job is to help people on the inside, right? And so if you are feeling good on the outside, and then you're feeling good and secure on the inside, then that's a boss lady combination,
right?
Yeah. So if you all, I think it would be helpful, because I believe in people's stories, if you could share a time where you're talking about the feeling accomplished and what was the word with the D? Devastated?
Defeated.
Accomplished and defeated at the same time. Can you share a story of yourselves or someone else where you felt like your work-life balance was just completely off, where you felt like you couldn't get it together, you were off balance, knocked off your square, completely defeated, you didn't feel accomplished? And what did you do to bring yourself out of that space? And tell me also if that happened in this last 8 weeks.
I was about to say, we've been going back and forth.
I would say like so my last day at work was March 17th. I'll never forget. But from March 17th to about like that first week of April, I was defeated. Like, I felt like my whole world was just turned upside down. I felt like everything that I had worked so hard for just collapsed. And it was just, I was just defeated. I was not in a good mood at home. My mood started to affect my family, but I couldn't shake it. Like, it was almost like mourning a loss, almost like, I don't know, as an entrepreneur, like, you're so used to grinding, hustling, like you're used to that. And so to just have to stop, that's weird because I'm a go-getter. I don't really stop. So to be forced to stop so abruptly, with no warning, like, that was crazy. So I suffered, I would say the first couple of weeks, I was just eating everything in sight.
So you were eating your feelings. You were eating your feelings.
Comfort food, right? My kids, you know, they had started homeschool. I was not being the best homeschool teacher. I still had a lot of the weight on the teachers. And I'm just like emailing them like, no, you're supposed to do this. And how come this isn't? And I just was, I don't know. I don't want to call it semi-depressed, but I know
call it like it is.
Very low. And, you know, people started checking in with me like, oh, how's it going? Like, are you, you know, relaxing? You doing all the things you never had time to do? And I'm like, I am sad. Like, and then I think after that, I started exercising. I started cutting out all the junk. I got back to my smoothies, you know, water. I started doing my skincare. And I think internally that just started to shift things up for me. And then by like mid-April, I started to feel like, you know what?
I like this.
Like, there's a lot of things I haven't been able to do. A lot of things that have always been on my list, my back burner list, the stuff that I never got to. I started accomplishing those things, like taxes and just stuff that I usually put to the side.
Right.
And so as I started to check other things off my list, I started to feel accomplished again. And so now my mood is good. The kids are, you know, they're like reflective of our mood. So I could see that my kids were now enjoying me home, and the quality time just started to really blossom. And I just started to slowly like walk into, you know, get into my mood of, and I guess my new titles, and I started to own it.
Right.
And I think just staying physically fit and, you know, being mindful of what you're eating and what you're drinking, and just taking my me time, like doing my facials, doing my masks at night, listening to music, burning candles. Like, I just really started to create peace in my home. And now I feel back to amazing.
Right.
Like, I feel like I know the girl.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. So you had a reconnection love affair with yourself. It sounds like, right? I wonder if other people have some questions for you guys. I want our crew to ask you guys some questions about what your life was like as entrepreneurs before and after as well. And I definitely want to hear from Faylee as well with regards to, you know, that sort of feeling of, you know, it took you a minute to adapt to what was actually happening.
Listen.
And then once you realized it, how did that impact you, and what did you do to grow to this place? I won't say grow through it because we're not
through it. Yeah. I mean, just like you said, it took me a little time to kind of accept it. And it really came when I had a client that came to me and was like, she was so scared. And I'm like, what, like, I'm still trying to figure out what is going on. What's that serious? Because like I said, I don't watch the news. So when I finally did watch
a little bit to know what's going on.
Just a little bit. But I think after I finally just started to kind of get the hang of it, or whatever. But I feel like with what Sierra said, I always tried to keep a good balance of, you know, working out, juicing, burning candles and all that, because before all of this, I had a lot going on to begin with. So when all of this happened, I knew if I didn't shift my mindset, I was just going to get deeper and deeper into what was already going on. So I think if anything, it kind of boosted my creativity. I was able, just like Sierra said, I was able to start an online shoe store, put this event together, all this stuff, just basically finding other outlets to take my mind off of everything that was going on. Because like, unlike Sierra, I didn't have like a straight period of just being kind of, you know, down. It was like kind of like it was like one day I'll be okay, and the next day
a little bit of roller coaster. Yeah.
And I learned that I have to kind of let that, like, if I wake up on a day and I'm just not, I learned to kind of just let it be. Because the more I try to, ride the wave. Because the more I try not, you know, and get out of the funk or whatever, it would just make it too more complicated than it needed to be. So, like I said, I appreciate the highs and lows, and I feel like when I did have my highs, I tried to get as much accomplished as possible. So when I did have my lows, it wasn't as bad, and it was easier to come out of it, so to speak. So
Gotcha.
and I think also just having a lot of my friends being down or whatever, and I found myself being that person that was coming with the encouraging words, even though on days where I wasn't feeling everything that I was speaking, but but
Take it
I
till
knew,
you make it.
okay, okay, but I knew what I was speaking is what I wanted to hear from someone else. So I knew that even though I wasn't feeling my best, I didn't want my friends or whoever to, be down. Like I want everybody to, be uplifted just as much as I want somebody to uplift me. So
Yeah. So that's interesting because I often think, have you all heard of the book? And this is for our crew. We talk about certain books. I mean, of course, we have the, Courageous Conversations Connect, and there's a lot of stuff. There's a whole chapter in here on how to be healthy in the midst of transition. That's a whole chapter, and it's a journaling process. But there's also there's a way to think about our lives from the perspective of what is it that we're learning and how are we utilizing this meantime moment to level up in our lives, refocus our energy, recalibrate, redefine who we are and whose we are, if you will, and then move into a place where we actually can register where we're at. So I want to ask these sort of 5 questions or comments and see what your thoughts about them are. These are ways to refocus your energy. I want to hear from you as well as our crew if you all have instituted this. Intentionally prioritizing. That's really key, right? That we have to be intentional about how we prioritize, because I work with clients all the time who are very, very successful, but they're kind of all over the place, right? They're doing one thing here and one thing there, and and I have been like that because I have a lot of ideas, but if you don't prioritize what's important, then oftentimes you end up doing a whole lot of nothing. Right?
That's true.
So, intentionally prioritizing and asking if what you're spending your energy on is investing in your future, right? It's because as you continue to escalate, there will be people that come at you with lots of different things, right? The shiny objects. And, it sounds good in the moment, but is it connected with your brand?
Right.
Is it really moving your agenda forward, or is it just somebody else's agenda, right? And this time that has been a time of reflection, are you taking that into consideration? What's your investment into others and what's their investment into you, right? Where everybody's in social media, how are we leveling up as women and helping each other? Because I see people, quite frankly, sometimes that are constantly asking for you to promote them, but never promote you.
Okay.
That's a thing out there, right? And so how are we investing in the future of other people? Align yourself with the right people in every area of your life. That's the third thing, because if you're only aligning yourself with the right people professionally, but personally, you're in bad relationships because of loyalty, legacy, or longevity. You just in it, right? And they have yet to do anything for you, but you just like, they just been my friend forever. It may be that they've been in your life past their expiration date.
Yep.
So
I've had that.
Thinking about the right people, finding yourself something even better to put your energy into. What does that look like? And this is a reflection time. And then lastly, boundaries.
Yes.
I feel like the boundaries sometimes the boundaries get blurred. Sometimes our friends are our coworkers are our friends. Everybody's in the space together. People in social media have way too much access. And sometimes what that requires, especially for movers and shakers and people that got grit, is we don't always want to say no. So we allow everybody into our personal private space, and we tend not to set appropriate boundaries, and therefore wonder, why am I so exhausted? Why do I feel like I have
drained,
drained completely from top to bottom? It's because we pour it out and nobody's poured in. So we have to have that balance, right? And feeding whatever our love language is. Do you guys know what your love language is?
I do. Hold on. I'm trying to think.
You know what the 5 are?
No, what are the 5? Maybe I could pick.
All right.
Pick from one.
So Gary Chapman has a book called The 5 Love Languages.
Mm-hmm.
The 5 are acts of service, quality time, gift giving, words of affirmation, and physical touch.
I feel like 1 through 4.
You just want it all, right?
All of it. I mean, I think a good combination. Because I think a good combination is there. Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. Yeah.
What about you, Sierra?
What was the 5th one?
Physical touch.
Yeah, I don't want to be touched.
You don't want to be touched?
Oh my gosh. I would say all of them, but the one that probably stands out the most is probably acts of service and words of affirmation.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I thrive off of that when I'm given that.
The words. Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about in terms of what people we have around us, and us being able to elevate our voices to share with the people these are our love languages, so that they know this is what I need to fill myself up, to be fueled. And there should be a few people in your life, because there's givers and takers in every scenario. There should be a few people that their role is to give, right? Because we give up a lot. We should have those and we should have those reciprocal roles or relationships, so that they're not all upside down, where we're constantly giving out and we're not getting that reciprocity, that ROI on our investment, if you will. And if we can explore what those love languages are, at least our primary and our secondary, then we can express that to others, especially as we go back into our lives, whatever that looks like, creating these new norms, these new innovative ways to create and elevate and inspire and be inspired. As we do that, we're going to, as we're leveling up, we're going to need our crew. We're going to need those people that are speaking life, that buy into our vision in order for us to continue to move the needle forward, so that we can continue to help other people. So I just thank you guys for being on the show. I thank you for giving us life and energy. Can you just really quickly share where that people can go to sign up for your virtual fashion show?
So if you go to either of our Instagram pages, the link is in all of our bios. So you can see at the bottom, my business page is Doll the Lash Bar. The link is in that bio. Faze is London Artistry. And then my personal Instagram is Sierra L. Curtis. The link is in that bio. And Faye, what's your personal Instagram?
London Styles.
London Styles. So if you click the link on any of those bios, it'll take you to where you can go ahead and drop your email and register.
Oh, actually spell it. People will spell it London.
Can you spell? Oh, is it London with the L-O?
London with a Y. L-O-N-D-Y-N.
London with a Y. Gotcha. And you guys are going to, when are you shipping to be back open for business? What's that going to look like for the two of you?
Well, Murphy just announced 2 days ago that he just pushed it 30 more days. So
I don't watch news. Was it. I know.
That's why you got me. See, this is why you got me.
Brent keeps me updated. Brent is my newscaster. I get all my information from him. He's probably the one that helped me get it serious.
Gotcha. Well, even if it's 30 more days, you guys are putting your brand out there, your business is out there, and the best. Listen, I believe the best is yet to come for you guys. I really believe that. You've got energy, you've got light. We're going to be on that fashion show. We're going to enjoy it for the mothers out there tomorrow at 8:00. And so thank you so much for joining the show on this Friday, April 8th.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, we're going to run a quick promo and we're going to be right back. Okay. Stay with us. All right. So listen, we are transitioning, but we thank our guests for being on here. We thank Haley and Sierra, who are amazing boss lady entrepreneurs. We don't take it lightly that you were on our inaugural show as guests. This is the first time that we had guests on. I can't think of two better, stronger, more beautiful, and phenomenal women to be on our show for the first time as guests. So thank you so much.
Our pleasure.
I thank our listeners and our viewers for being on at YouTube and Facebook, as well as IG, our IG family. And so we will be back, right? Happy. Yeah, we're going to definitely, please come back. We're going to definitely have you guys back. We're going to be back on Monday at 10 o'clock. And I just wish everybody had a wonderful, wonderful Mother's Day. Do something wonderful for yourself. Enjoy yourself. My girlfriend Candy Manning is going to be going around taking photography pictures of all the mothers that she knows that have sown life into her. And so this is a time for us to give. And it's also a time for us to be kind to ourselves as women and mothers. So have a beautiful, listen, I love you. Nobody else told you. I love you. There's nothing that you can do about it. I got my new friends over here, Bailey and Sierra. So have a beautiful Mother's Day, ladies. And for the rest of our crew, have a beautiful weekend and a beautiful Mother's Day on purpose from our heart to yours.
Thank you.